How to stop buffering on the Amazon Firestick. This is the ultimate golden nugget of a question we always get on TikTok, on YouTube. Everyone always asks, how do you stop buffering? But first, we need to understand what causes the Amazon Firestick buffering, and then what we'll do is jump onto the Firestick and go through some of the settings and show you little tips that will help improve your signal speed. Now, don't forget, the new Amazon Firestick does have Wi-Fi 6, so if you do have an older version and you connect to Wi-Fi, older versions of Firesticks are notorious for running slow. So by upgrading, in the first instance, that may help with not only the speed of your device, but the speed of the Wi-Fi too. Anyway, first, let's cover what causes buffering. Now, it all depends on what app or service you're using. If you're buffering on the likes of official apps like Amazon Prime or Netflix, likelihood is there's a problem with either your Wi-Fi connection or your Wi-Fi speed. And we're going to cover both of them in just a second. But if you're having buffering with unofficial apps, like dodgy apps, you know what I mean? Then the likelihood is it may not be your internet. It's probably the app or service you're using. Now, if you didn't know how these apps or services work, so essentially they will have a server. All the channels, the movies, the shows, they are going to be on a server. And the more bandwidth on that server, i.e. the more traffic, the more people watching it, it's going to degrade the speed. So that is when a lot of buffering kicks in. If you notice, during events and big games, that is when buffering kicks off the most, because there's so many people on the server trying to watch it. So first, you need to identify the difference between your buffering on an official app like Netflix or Amazon and unofficial apps. If it's only buffering on the latter, then the problem is with that app or service, not your connection. However, as you know, ISPs are also known to slow down your internet during peak times. This is called ISP throttling, and it's a common practice across the industry. The only way you can overcome that is by using a VPN. Of course, you have other benefits like your privacy and unblocking more content by using a VPN, but the main one when it comes to buffering is bypassing ISP throttling. Very useful. And of course, if you do want a VPN, I'll link it up down below. You guys know we've been sponsored by VPNs for years, so by taking it via our links, it does support us as creators as well. But that's not what the video is about. My guess is it's the apps you're using. However, as we've established, it's either one or the other, we've problem solved that side. So if it is that app or service, simply use another one or don't use it at all. However, let's get into the connection issues if it's on our end, i.e. the Wi-Fi strength or the Wi-Fi signal. Now, if you don't know, there is a new screen on the Amazon Firestick, especially on the later versions. If you go down to the help section on the main menu, there's a super useful tool here. And after analyzing your device, it will tell you at the top what your signal strength is. It'll be low, medium or high. Now mine is normally low, so that's a great signal to move your Wi-Fi router or adapter closer to your Amazon Firestick. However, what we can also do is a speed test. Now, I would use the one built into the Firestick, not the third-party apps. This should give you a true reflection of your speed. Now, for the Wi-Fi, let's go on over to the Wi-Fi networks and go to your main network and press the play pause button. That's going to give you this screen, which is very useful because it'll give you your true download speed over there and when it was last updated. There's also some advanced settings on here to play with, but this speed test is going to be better than using any other speed test which is bombarded with ads. As you can see, mine's 433, which is very good. Now, the lower your speed, the more likely it is to buffer. If you've got anything over 25, 30 meg, you shouldn't have any issues. But of course, depending on your results, could mean time for a bit of an upgrade. It's always good to have faster speeds, and don't forget, the more devices being used on your network, the more it's going to impact your connection speed on the Firestick. Now, I want to quickly cover Ethernet connections because I had an issue on TikTok where one of my followers on TikTok was getting slow speeds whilst using a wired connection. Now, it's worth noting on the older Amazon Firesticks, there is a transfer speed data cap which may reduce your download speed essentially on the Firestick. Of course, it's going to be a more stable connection, but it may not always be the case. Again, the newer Firesticks have Wi-Fi 6, which is a lot faster. So if you're having issues with your Wi-Fi, you could always use a wired connection. And if you want an adapter for the Amazon Firestick, I'll link one up down below, which you can get from Amazon. But for me, I personally prefer the wireless connection because it's less wires around the telly as well. Of course, you can do the normal stuff that people recommend to do, restart your router, restart your Firestick, but 9 times out of 10, you've already done all that. So it could be time for an upgrade on the Amazon Firestick. It could be time for an upgrade on your download speed from your ISP. It could be that your router is too far from your Firestick, but in conclusion to the video, the likelihood is it's going to be the app or service, because my guess is it doesn't really buffer on official apps like Netflix. Again, if it does, it's an issue your end. And if that's the case, kick out that app or service and stop bloody using it. So hopefully this should help stop buffering on your Amazon Firestick. I hope this video has been useful to you. If it has, please hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've identified what the issue is or if this video's helped. And that's all for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.